Good morning. I am sitting here in the St. Benedict Roman Catholic Church, and I have the pleasure of meeting for the first time
Father Dan Blout.
Thank
I'm the pastor.
Yeah, very good. I'm glad to meet you, sir. It's a very frigid day outside, but we're very warm here in the church. What is the physical address of your church?
It's 260 Bruno Road, Greensburg, Pennsylvania, although we are close to Marguerite.
Yes. It's a very beautiful church. I was told by one of the ladies cleaning that it's over 100 years old.
Yes, correct.
1902?
Yes.
It's quite something. It just looks fresh and beautiful, and you've kept it up very well.
Well, thank you.
So what are the times of your services?
Saturday evening, we gather for Mass at 5:30, and then on Sunday morning, 9:30.
Very good. And you just don't minister here, you also minister at the Our Lady of Grace?
Correct.
Yes,
correct.
in Greensburg.
Yes, right off of Mount Pleasant Road.
So you're a very busy man.
Yes.
So tell me, how did you get into the ministry? What was your call?
Well, I received my call to priesthood during my years of college at Gannon University up in Erie. And during that time, a priest that was the resident advisor in the dormitory, the chaplain there, Father Drexler, God rest his soul, but he really invited me to consider, ask the question, did I ever consider being a priest? And I kind of laughed it off at that point and said, initial response, not really, but thanks. But he planted a seed that led me to a lot of prayer and reflection. And those are years, as you know, that making decisions that last a lifetime. And over time, I entered the seminary as a junior in college and stayed with the seminary up in Erie at St. Mark's, but then landed at St. Vincent Seminary here in Latrobe for 4 years after that. And I was ordained in 1986.
All right.
So it's been 36 years of ministering and serving.
You know they're going to do math, and they're going to figure out how old you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to...
No problem. But I've served here for almost 10 years.
10 years?
Yes.
That's tremendous. Good for you. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing this is to encourage people to come to church, and I was wondering if you could give an encouraging word to those that are on the fence, not knowing whether they should come, either to your church or another church. If you could do that, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, most definitely. As you know, we're a Roman Catholic church, and we certainly celebrate Mass and encourage parishioners that are faithful, and those who have been maybe pulled back and isolated a bit because of the virus and the pandemic, but now that seems to have subsided, we certainly see a growing number of members coming back to the church, and it's a timely kind of invitation to all of you watching, and thanks for tuning in here. And that coming up in a couple weeks, Ash Wednesday,
right.
February 22nd, that's a significant day for Christians to begin that solemn season of Lent, a time of turning to the Lord. And what better place to turn to the Lord, encounter Him with fellowship with believers, hearing the Word and celebrating Eucharist here at the altar.
I'm so glad I got you now, because I have a feeling in a month you're going to be nuts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good timing.
When you go into the Lenten season, it's one thing after another, and it's all a blur. Hopefully, you'll be able to enjoy it, even though you're serving others, and hoping that they enjoy it as well.
Sure.
So, now you're not from around here, or you kind of are. You're not too far away.
Not at all.
Where were you brought up?
I was born and reared in Fayette County, a little town, Mason Town, which is pretty on the Monongahela River. Went to Albert Gallatin High School, kind of in that school system before college. So I've always been in this southwestern Pennsylvania area, serving in the Diocese of Greensburg, but I always call Mason Town my home.
Oh, very good. What do you see are the challenges in this very unusual time? What do you think the challenges are to Christians out there and to the church in general?
Well, I think the challenge is that the Lord through this all is really kind of asking us to accept and embrace our mission as believers, that we take the Word of God, we take our life and allow the Lord's grace to make it beautiful, make it a testament of love in a concrete way. And the challenge is that we kind of were on autopilot, kind of routine before COVID, coming to service every week. We had our routines, and the past couple of years have upset many personal routines and family routines. And I think that the challenge now for all of us is to say, church, being a member of God's faithful community is important, and that takes an intentional step of faith that you want to walk the path of the Lord.
Absolutely. Do you feel your church is recovering since, I assume you shut down 2 years ago?
Most definitely.
Yeah,
Most definitely.
as most churches did. Do you feel your church is recovering from that shutdown, or did you go online? How did you minister to others during that time?
During that time of pandemic, we ministered virtually by having our service, our Mass at Our Lady of Grace, and we live streamed it through a YouTube channel. So everyone here at St. Benedict was encouraged to sort of remotely kind of tune in on our YouTube channel.
Did you ever live stream before?
We were live streaming at
So
Our Lady of Grace,
you were used to it?
which was a blessing. We were already ramped up, but we were doing it really for shut-ins, like the elderly.
Right.
And so we had the system in place to do it, but the viewership kind of shot through the roof during the pandemic.
Yes, as I hope it would. At least
yeah.
they were getting fed somehow, even though it was an unusual way to be fed. I know people out there don't believe it because they think I'm a ham, but I did not want to be taped or go live, especially live stream. That terrifies me.
Yeah.
So we would tape and put our service on the next week.
Yeah. And it was awkward kind of celebrating with no one.
Yes.
That was the most difficult thing, to have an empty church, but to infuse it with some spirit, some meaning and grace by the grace of God. But we've kind of come through that, and we certainly have seen an uptick in participation, but we have a ways to go. And we want to remain positive and hopeful, and I think that when you come into church, there's a unique sense of prayer, of reverence, and of community.
Oh, you need that fellowship.
In person.
Yes.
In person.
Hopefully we will never have to go through that again.
Yes.
I just don't want to do that. It was exhausting and troubling, and you're wondering, how long is this going to be? Are we going to come out the other side? Are we going to survive this? And God, I think, had his hand of blessing upon us. Yes, during that time, and got us through. So now the busy time is coming up, of course, with the Easter season. Do you have any words to encourage people to come back? That would be a perfect time to come back to church during the Easter season.
Exactly.
Would you like to encourage the people to do that?
Most definitely. I can't encourage you enough to just come and be part of the faithful as we gather on Saturday evening and Sunday morning, Saturday at 5:30 and Sunday morning at 9:30. And truly, your presence is important. Everyone is unique. Everyone has a gift and a special way to be part of the family of faith here at St. Benedict.
Thank you, sir.
Oh,
This has
good.
just been an absolute pleasure talking to you and meeting you. I want to give a shout out to John Batcher from the Batcher Funeral Home in Pleasant Unity for setting up this interview.
yeah.
We did not previously meet, and it was actually John who said, you got to talk to this guy. He's a good guy. And so I'm glad I did. I'm glad he encouraged me.
Appreciate it. You never know how God brings people together, and we all share the same goal, just bring the goodness of life and the love of the Lord to the church and to the community. Thank you so very much for joining us today.
Yes. And until next time, God bless.